music, and the instrument I play is called the Uilleann pipes, what you see here. And Uilleann is the Irish Gaelic word for elbow. And the Uilleann pipes are, like a lot of countries have their own bagpipes. You know, like in Scotland you've got the Scottish bagpipes. In Spain you've got several different pipes. You've got Galician pipes, and France has their own pipes, Sweden. But I think myself, every form of bagpipe originated from the Middle East, from Egypt. But what makes the Uilleann pipes unique to every other pipe in the world is that, and I'll display a little bit more of it in a minute, is that it's a bellows blowing pipe. I don't use my mouth. Bagpipes are blowing through the mouth. Most pipes are filled. The source of air would be from the mouth, from the lungs. But the Irish Uilleann pipes is unique because you use a bellows for your air, and you've got a bag under your arm, and I'll explain that in a minute. But there's two things that make the Uilleann pipes more distinct than anything else, and that is that you've got 2 octaves on your chanter, which means you can play a vast amount of music. You know, like the Scottish bagpipes, you've got 8 notes, 1 octave, and that's your limit of what you can do with that thing. But with the Uilleann pipes, you've got 2 octaves, which means you can play classical music if you're good enough. You can play different types of music. And also, the Uilleann pipes have got the keys here in the front, which are called regulators, and they're for harmony chords when you play. No other pipe in the world has those. So that's why they're a bit unique, and they are unique to Ireland. It was forbidden to play these at one time in Ireland. If you were associated with pipes, you would be hung, because during the penal laws in Ireland, the English, they made these what were known as penal laws, and you were forbidden to speak Irish. You were forbidden to go to mass. You were forbidden, anything that was Irish cultural was forbidden. And people that played pipes, non-pipers were hung just because they played Irish music, and the native Irish pipe. But anyway, this is the bellows. It's just something called a bellows, and that's for your air. Instead of blowing with your lungs, we use this, and this straps on, it just straps on like this. And if you have any questions, girls or anybody, boys, just ask me. And this is the Uilleann pipe. And they're made, I made a set myself, and the chanter was made from African ebony. And this is interesting. You see these parts here, these white mountings? They were made from the bones of a horse bone. And this particular set was made from a racehorse, believe it or not. Because when a racehorse or any horse breaks his leg, it never heals. You know, he has to be put down. And I got this from a racehorse because near where I live, they have hounds. Do you know, they do hunting, and they've got 50, 60 hounds, and they gave the horse the carcass to feed the hounds. So they kept me the bones, and that's what I made those with. And the reason I use those is because these were always made from ivory, from the tusks of elephants, and of course the elephants nearly became extinct. So it's just the same thing, it's just the same thing as ivory, it's just a bone, but it looks just as good. And then these parts are just brass tubing that are nickel plated. And this is the bag. And I'll give you an idea of what they sound like. There's so much going on with the Uilleann pipes that maybe it just needs a bit of explaining, because there's an awful lot of stuff happening. And I've been playing, I started playing when I was 18. I was all into football and boxing and stuff before that. And my father used to really kill me because he wanted me to play pipes, because it was in my family, you know. And I was a late starter, but I got into it eventually. The first thing, oh no, I'll explain to you what the most, you see this now, this looks like a spectacular instrument, doesn't it? Looks nice. But without this part in here, this wouldn't work at all. See that little thing? That's the most important part of the whole pipes, it's the reed. And it's made from Spanish cane, and it's harder to make that reed than to make the whole out of that, believe it or not. I spent a whole week making reeds, and I only got one reed that worked pretty good.
Why does it take so long to make one?
Well, it takes a couple of hours. They're a double reed, so you've got to make sure that everything sits right, and you've got to scrape it down, and you've got to tie it up, and then you've got to get it to tune. but you could be home morning at 1. And then when you put it in, it might not necessarily be 100%. So there are only a few top-class reed makers in the country, which means in the world, maybe 4 or 5. A lot of people make reeds, but they don't make them right, you know. So that's essential, and you protect that with your life. Because you can put it in here and you can just go, it's gone, you know. If you're drunk, it's a bad job. I don't drink anymore, I give it up. But you just put it back in here. And that's the most important thing, you don't even see it. You know, that's what gives you your sound. And this is the chanter, and I'll just give you an idea of what it sounds like. Now you're going to play bagpipes, that's as far as you could go. But with the Uilleann pipes you can do this. Okay?
Nice.
The next thing then is the drones. These are the drones. You've got 3 drones. Tenor, baritone and bass. And they sound like this. This tune. That's the tenor. Baritone and bass. It's all 3 together. Okay? And then as I explained at the start, what makes Uilleann pipes unique to every other pipe is these. And these are called regulators. And they're for harmony chords. When you're playing the tune, you use this part of your hand. So just to accompany yourself with harmony. And they sound just like this. Anyway, I'll play a tune and you can hear the whole thing together. Right? And don't forget, if you want to ask me anything, you want to ask any questions about it, I'll also tell you a little bit about myself after this, where I came from, how the music was in my family for generations. You know, I come from it's a way of life that has died out in Ireland now. There was people known as travellers, gypsies, travelling pipers, and I was born into a family like that. My father was a travelling man. He travelled the whole country, and he made his living by playing music on the street. Right? That's how he raised us. And there was 16 of us in the family. I don't know how my mother put up with him, but he did. There were 16 kids anyway. And he fed us through the music. He clothed us. And all my brothers played music. My older brothers, two of them have died since, and when they were able, they would have been put on the street to play music as well. But that's the way life has passed in this country. It's finished. You know, you see people busking, but people busk, they just do it for a hobby or a pastime, pass away sometime, maybe earn a few bucks. But with my people, it was a way of life. If my father didn't do it, we wouldn't have ate, we wouldn't have had food, you know. Because in those days, like back 40, 50 years ago, there was no unemployment benefit. Nobody gave you anything. If you didn't earn money yourself, you just went hungry. Times have changed so much in this country, you know. Anyway, I'll play a tune. This is a jig. It's called The Lark in the Morning. And it's a common pipe tune. G called the Lark in the morning, and usually, like, the only odd tradition in Irish music was played for dancing one time, you know. So it was mostly for dancers we used to play. Well, that's basically the pipes. That's basically all I can tell you about the pipes. You want to ask me anything about anything, there's no problem. Any questions?
You take the questions.
What
Below the Valley?
to tune the song?
Yeah.
Is it a Planksty song?
Yes.
I've never tried that before. No. Do you know the song?
I love that tune.
Do you like Planksty?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was a couple of faculty here from the Irish Studies Department who were all excited.
You had
So
an
you may wind up having people anyway. How did you get him? So that was fun.
But just to go back to my own situation, I was born in what's known as a barrel-top wagon. Do you ever watch any old cowboy films, Western films in America? You know the old top with the round? Well, we used to have those, and they were green canvas tops. And that's where we were born and reared, beside one of those with a horse-drawn carriage. And my mother had 16 children. There was no contraception, there was none of that in Ireland in those days, like, you know. I'll tell you a small bit of a story, and it's only a kind of a funny thing, but my father used to say, when he'd be talking to people on stage, he'd be telling yarns and jokes. And he said the reason that his wife had so many children was that his wife was a bit deaf. And she said, when we go to bed at night, I'd ask her, will we go sleep or what? And she'd say, what? She said, that's how the woman works. I should have told you that.
It takes a while, but they'll get it.
You don't get it. But anyway.
It'll take a while, but it'll get there.
So, back, you know, when I was born, when I was young, I remember my dad going off playing with a famous, this man became a legend. He became the Jimi Hendrix of Irish piping. He was a man called Johnny Dunne. And Johnny Dunne travelled every inch of Ireland with his horse-drawn caravan. And he did the exact same as my father, although my father was a fiddle player. Johnny Dunne played the pipes, and sometimes they would get together and play. And there is a whole generation of top-class pipers playing today in the style of Johnny Dunne. I don't know where Johnny Dunne.
Is he up there?
No, but you could Google him there.
Yeah, will do.
Google, okay.
On tech support.
Yeah. And there's some of the famous musicians like Paddy Keenan, who played with the Bothy Band.
Johnny
Dunne, D-O-R-A-N. That's it. Maybe there might be something about it. If you look at the bottom, you see this clip there where the pictures are down there, that's right. You might see his caravan and stuff. That's him, yeah.
Him.
That's him, yeah.
Yeah.
And you see him just outside his caravan, that was his caravan. You get it up. And there's a story.
Go see him from the caravan.
Where's
Scroll down. Scroll.
Down there.
Oh, is that it?
No, see down here with the dog. See here? Click on that one.
That one?
Next one in, that one.
Got it. Oh.
Yeah, you see the caravan? See the round caravan behind him? Can you make it out?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That was his caravan. That's when I was born in one of those.
Yeah.
And he's a legend today, Johnny Dunne. And all young pipers today, he made one recording in his life. He never heard himself play. In 1945, they brought him in and he played for 20 minutes. And that's the only recording we have of him. And what happened was, in the winter, we would do the same. He would pull his caravan into the city and park it up for the winter. And he parked just down here in the Liberties. You're in Dublin, and he parked his car next to this big concrete wall for shelter, so the wind and didn't a storm come and blew the wall on top of his caravan, and he was only 40 years of age. And he broke his back, and he died 2 years later. So we'll never really know how good he was, but from the little recording we had, he was just incredible. Absolutely stunning musician. And he played just like my father did with the fiddle, reared his whole family through the music. And that's a way of life, and a part of our culture that has gone completely, and it's terrible. With modern people don't have to do that anymore. They seem to be able to earn a living, no problem. There's nobody hungry in this country anymore, which is great. But it's a legacy that I'm hugely proud of, because this instrument nearly died out. I told you about, maybe you weren't all here, that it was forbidden to play these one time, and it almost died out. In the 40s, there was only one man able to make pipes in the world, one. And if anything had happened to him, it would have died out, and we wouldn't have this beautiful instrument today.
How many are there today? How many people make
pipe makers? There's maybe in the whole world about 40, and some of the best, would you believe it, are in America. One of the best pipe makers in the world is in America. He lives up in Vermont. He's a man called Benedict Kohler, and he makes fabulous stuff. So it's kind of revived, but only for the travelling musician. This would have passed away. They brought it to little villages, little towns, where people would have never seen this instrument. And of course, when you see it, like you're inquisitive and you wonder, do we ever play that or not? So they're a huge part of this culture in this country. And if anyone is doing any studies about piping or Irish music, Johnny Dunne is a name to remember. Make sure you write it down. Because if anybody in America knows anything at all about music, you will have heard of Johnny Dunne. So I'm going to play another tune.
Please.
There is another form of music in Ireland. It's called Fáin Mal, which is Irish for slow air, a lament. And it's one of my favourite pieces of music, because it also, Irish music is very lively and bouncy, and rhythm is good and all that, but it also has another side of it. There's a sadness to the whole Irish people, there's famine, immigration, mass immigration. And this piece of music I'm going to play, it's called An Curiach Malaha, which means the cursed Kerryman. And it's about immigration. I was looking at a documentary. I'll just share this with you. There's a documentary on about the immigration in Ireland there. And it was about a family called Wills. The name of the family was Wills. They were a farming family. And they couldn't pay their rates to their landlord, and they were evicted from their house, and they had no choice only to either starve or immigrate. I'm talking about the 1800s now. And there was 4 children, the mother and father, and they got on the cart, the horse and car, and they came to Limerick to get their ship, coffin ship, to America. And when they were coming into Limerick, one of the boys got sick. He was a 10-year-old boy. And this is all documented. It's all true. Everything is all documented. People kept records. And they couldn't take the boy on board the ship for the 8-week journey, because everybody would have got sick. So they were left with a choice. None of them go or leave the boy behind. And they decided that they had to leave him behind, or else they would have all died. So can you imagine the ship pulling out and the mother looking at the dock and seeing her child left behind? Nobody knew, nobody cared. And the ship was gone 2 weeks. And one of the daughters, she was only 12 years old, she got sick. She got sick on ship and she died on the crossing. So they left 4. And then one of the youngest babies, he died. And they were thrown overboard. And this happened to thousands of Irish people, hundreds of thousands. So when they got to Canada, they got to Quebec, And they came down the St. Lawrence River and they were in quarantine. They had to wait for weeks before they were taken off the ship. And there was the eldest daughter was sick, and the mother was sick, and the father was sick, so they couldn't be taken aboard, taken up the shore. But eventually they had to be. But two of them was put into hospital. The daughter and the father and they died anyway. They died in hospital. And there was no more account of the mother. No one knows what happened to her after that. So the whole family were wiped out.
Do you know what kind of sickness they had?
Well, on the board ship you get dysentery, you get fever, you get all this kind of stuff. When people be cramming it together, and they're all malnutrition, and So, but I'm just sharing that because some of the songs, the tunes, they are so sad. You can feel it. I can feel it when I'm playing. I can feel what those people must have gone through. I'm glad it didn't happen. I didn't have to live through it. So that's one thing. But it's not all about lively, bouncy, full of life music. There's a sadness to some of the Irish music too. And I played the tune anyway. It's called "I'm Curious Mother." So I can just imagine I have two daughters, and I can imagine why I had to sail away to leave my daughter down at oh God, didn't bear thinking about it. Any of you people have Irish ancestry, Irish blood? Did you ever check it out where you came from or what?
Yes, actually my mom wrote, right before I came, my mom wrote out my entire ancestry, and I have it all on my computer, and she has it all written out at home. I've got a family tree and everything, so.
What, do you know what part?
I know my mother, her maiden name is Donahue, and I believe they're from County Kerry.
Yeah, that's the who's in County.
Yep, and then my dad's mother's maiden name is Gallagher, and I believe they're from County Clare.
Gallagher's, right?
Yeah.
Good. Could be an Irish piper yet.
Possibly.
Yeah. How would you?
I just got my email to me actually. My uncle traced it back pretty far. I still have family that lives over here. They're up north near Belfast.
Okay.
Ballymoney.
Oh, Ballymoney, yeah. Cool.
I was actually just in the library doing research. It came from Belmullet and
County
County
Mayo, yeah. Isn't it amazing the amount of Irish American people? They say that there's 40 million Irish American people of Irish American ancestry. 40 million, there's only 4 million in Ireland. Anyway, I'm going to liven it up, I'm going to play something fast. So I think I'll be all kind of crying there, but anyway, this is dance music. This is my favourite tune. It's a very popular tune with travelling pipers. It's called, and it's funny enough, it's a Scottish tune. It's called Colonel Fraser. And the second tune in is a really popular Irish tune called It Hooks More and More. If anybody wants to do a bit of a dance there, you're more than welcome. And if you can think of any questions while I'm playing this, just think. You might like to ask something. Anyone want to have a try? I'll let you have a try at the
Amy,
end.
go ahead.
Try
Go
it.
ahead, Amy.
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
What's your first name again?
Amy?
Amy?
Amy's also our dancer and singer here.
Irish dancing.
I actually used to Irish dance
I'm
when
going to do
I was
that one minute.
You're in trouble now.
Amy, come on then. Now, you're not 10 years old, me, so. No, this way. Take it easy now, Amy. You'll have around you there. Around your back. It's your first lesson in Irish bagpipes. There you go. Take a photograph of this now, Amy, for your folks at home.
Amy, do you play any instruments?
Me?
Yeah.
Guitar.
Take your blood pressure. Sit down there now, Amy.
Okay.
She's probably a genius, though. She just plays.
She's setting you up for this.
Yeah, she said you're probably playing for the last 20 years. No. Now pump away here with this. Put that on your arm, Amy. This hand up around here. Yeah. Now pump away. Pump, pump, pump. Off you go. You go this hand. Catch this. It's kind of complicated, isn't it?
Yeah.
Off you go. Pump away, get a bit of noise going.
Okay. Wait.
Just keep pumping.
Okay.
No, get a nice photograph here. Show the fingers. Just with this one. Put down here. Yeah, cover the holes. And you pretend you're very good.
Okay.
Right.
Alright, Amy.
Take a photograph, maybe. Very good. It's not so easy, is it?
No.
Well, you were brave enough to try anyway. You get extra marks now for your exam.
Amy does Irish dancing.
Will you do it?
Yeah.
Try to do a hornpipe or what was it like?
What's it called? The Hannah Hughes jig?
Hey, make a cheek.
Yeah, that's the one we did. Yeah.
Yeah, but sure, any cheek you do.
Okay. Yeah.
What a talent, Davey.
The multi-talent.
What a talent, Davey. Davey, yeah. She'll be the best piper in Florida. You go back.
Honestly, probably would be the best piper, but
Huh?
she probably would be in Florida.
Something,
It's probably the same.
it's like there was a guy in Ireland, he said, the Dubliners. Do you know the group, the Dubliners?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
How he drew. He said in the 60s he was the best flamingo with half hair in Ireland.
In all of ours.
In our time,
He said he was the worst in the world because he could only How does this sound, maybe? nitrogen whistle. I suppose you've all seen that before.
Yeah. Maybe not. I don't know.
The cheapest nitrogen of all the time.
Yeah, I've seen them in the gift shop. I've never seen it played well. No.
Does anybody wonder how much this costs?
Yes.
You have any idea?
4,000.
Agree.
You'd have to navigate upwards. Big time.
10,000?
Yes, 10 and 12,000 euros.
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 It's like 20 grand.
Yes.
Yeah.
If I sold those today, right,
For a new one?
I would get 25,000
For a new one?
Dollars.
for these euros.
Euros.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
So how, you make them, so
Yeah.
how long does it take
To make a full set complete, it takes 400 hours, which is 10 weeks work. Now, $10,000, 10,000 euros sounds a lot of money in Ireland. In Ireland, it's not that great amount because I buy everything. Cost a couple of thousand maybe to buy all the leather, the wood, keys.
How long will it last? Like its lifespan, will it last for years and
It
years?
lasts forever.
Forever?
There is old pipes. There's people playing old pipes in Ireland today that came from the late 1700s. Made beautiful, beautiful work.
Will pieces have to be replaced?
Yeah, at times, like sometimes the balls could break or keys could fall off, but they can be fixed up. Yep. You show you that piece there, that's the horse bone, if you want to feel what it's like. See that white part? That's the shin bone of a horse. It's called the cannon bone. And it's only, you can only use about 2 inches of the bone because the shin is so dense, it's almost, there's only a tiny little hole go through it. So you can turn it on the wood lathe.
For all of them, is it always horse bone? Is there another
No, no.
material?
Sometimes people use wood, boxwood, rosewood. Sometimes you use imitation ivory, which is plastic. Looks the same.
Is there something about the horse bone that makes it sound? Is it like a clear sound, or is it just for display?
It's only for display. It's only for just to make it look flashy. If I took off that, all those things, the price would play the same.
It looks beautiful.
It looks the part, eh? But the ebony has a bearing in the sound, all right. You know, ebony would be the most dense. It's the densest timber you could get. And I like that kind of brightness. Some people use rosewood, which would be softer. Again,
Can we, I mean, I'd love for the students to get just a minute, that's also all of them can have touched it for a second and just.
yeah, pass it up there. No problem. Here it is a little bit.
All right, great. We'll just pull it all apart.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So why don't you start at this end?
This group saw it there. Go
Well, I
ahead.
don't know if they'd actually, yeah, so everybody get a chance to see.
That was the bones of the horse. Isn't it unbelievable the way what you can do?
How many pieces are there?
Oh God, if the whole thing was stripped, there might be just a couple of hundred. Maybe.
Wow.
Everything is just, put together. They're all those brass, they're all separate pieces.
How old were you when you started making them?
I'll tell you the truth, I'm just going to talk honestly here. I had a problem, big problem with alcohol. I'm an alcoholic. And I had to stop. Drink almost killed me. It almost took my life. And I lost everything because I couldn't stop drinking. But anyway, I stopped drinking 10 years ago and I had to go for treatment. And they told me in the treatment centre that I would have to find something to do. Because I was playing music at night, and drinking every night.
Right.
And I was in bed all day and I get up out of bed and go back to the pub again. It was just it was a disaster.
Ongoing.
Right. So when I stopped to drink, they told me that I would need to find something to do to keep myself busy, so I started making pipes. And it's the best thing I've ever done. It's not, it's the second best. The best thing I've ever done was stop drinking. That's the truth.
It's really interesting.
And I would just say, anyone you hear, I'm not a lecturer in anything like that, but you just got to be careful with that stuff.